I mentioned in the fourth segment of one of my podcasts of last week, talking about how Stephen Curry hinted at a possibility of challenging the woman who holds the WNBA three-point record. Or actually, no, not the WNBA. There we go. That's actually much better lighting. Hold on. All right. There we go. Figured it out. Figured out how I want to sit. Thank you. So, anyway, back to what I was saying. Recently, Stephen Curry was caught on the sidelines in the shoot-around, asking to see who holds the three-point shooting contest record, and it turns out to be a WNBA player, Sabrina Ionescu. She holds the record for most points in a three-point shooting contest, not just for NBA, but for the WNBA, not just for WNBA, but for NBA as well, which is very, very, very impressive. If you are, Jesus, this lighting is so bad, it's not even funny. Of course, they did the right. Right after my podcast from yesterday, they made this an official thing for the team and for the All-Star break. Of course, they did it right after my podcast. It's just the timing is just the worst. I cannot stand it. It's so unlucky. And they came up with a format and everything. They'll follow the standard three-point shooting contest rules of four ball racks, with the money ball at the end. An all money ball rack, along with two salary ranged deep threes. Those are the ones where you shoot at the hash, the deep threes. The game ball is worth 1, the money ball is worth 2, and the deep three is worth 3. So Steph will shoot from the NBA 3-point line and use an NBA ball, while Sabrina will use a WNBA ball and use the WNBA 3-point line. At least that's what the format on ESPN had planned. Sabrina had other ideas, however. She followed up with another tweet saying, "I'll use the NBA 3-point line," which would eliminate all the WNBA haters. Like, she used the WNBA ball and she shot closer. You know how they'd get. But so we will see if the NBA decides to release another report right after this podcast saying, she will be using the NBA 3-point line because she's accepted to do so. I'm personally very excited for this matchup. This will be the first time ever where there's any type of competition between NBA and WNBA players. And it's about time, honestly. The WNBA players have been arguing for years about how they deserve similar revenue with the money that they're making in the league, and this brings in a lot of question, and a lot of people don't necessarily agree with it simply because of how the WNBA plays. When guys play, I know a lot of people they don't go to the games, to the WNBA games, but instead of blaming the league for not playing you, why don't you just blame the fans for not supporting you? Here's my problem. I'm in college. Obviously, you guys know that. And I have a lot of, I go to a lot of sporting events here. When the guys play, I see, all of their friends, in the stands, cheering for them. Even when the sport might not be popular, all of their friends are still there to root for them every step of the way. And obviously, if you're good, more people are going to notice this and more people are going to show up. But when I go to women's games, I don't see any of their friends, in attendance whatsoever. I see a few of them, yeah, but, they already play a women's sport, so it doesn't really count because they already get how, the viewerships of these games and crowd attendances are a bit meh. So it's, it's I don't really want to say it doesn't count, but at the same time, it sort of doesn't because they understand. Why aren't women friends going to support their fellow women in these games? There's also the stereotype that women aren't as fun to watch as the men, and just going off of what I typically see, from what I see from WNBA basketball, it isn't really it wasn't that particularly fun to watch, and there isn't really any highlight plays that go on in those games and that are being made in those games, and the fact that a lot of them can't dunk is also a major entertainment factor that is just completely lost for basketball. Dunking is a major part of basketball, and a lot of fans like to see dunks, especially old heads, and they love it when someone just dunks over a huge defender that's just sitting in the paint, and it doesn't matter he just soars over him. But in the WNBA, they can't do that, which is a little bit of a vibe kill, if you ask me. Like, because I would really love to see a woman just go up and throw down a dunk right over any center's head. Like, it's very odd seeing a layup on a wide open fast break, and I'm used to seeing nice dunks or just any dunk, really. I think Caitlin Clark coming into this she's going to be their messiah, so eventually, like, viewership will pick up. And that's another thing not present in the WNBA, which is a player who could take over a game like her and put up ridiculous stats like her. Like, you don't really have many highlight level players like in the WNBA, if that makes sense. Like, you don't really see these ridiculous box scores in the WNBA like you do in the NBA. So that's another major entertainment factor, because it's like these players are doing something that like no one has ever seen before in the NBA, but like the WNBA is sort of like, it's remaining the same. But this talk about the NBA and WNBA athletes has been going on for years. Like, it's been going on for a while. It dates all the way back to 7 years ago when Brittany Griner said that she could beat DeMarcus Cousins in a 1v1. I'm sure a lot of people that who didn't just start watching NBA like recently know exactly like what I'm talking about, because this did happen 7 years ago. If you don't remember what happened, what the league was like 7 years ago, I'll remind you real quick. This is Prime Boogie. This is I can't move my head down because they won't see me. This is Prime Boogie. This is the undisputed best center in the league, Boogie. This is 27 and 11 per game, Boogie. And she thinks that she can beat him in a 1v1. Obviously, every NBA athlete was taking Cousins aside. KD was like, I like the confidence, BG, but I don't think that's going to happen. And Cousins said, I'm glad she's confident in her abilities, but it's also a little delusional. So you might say there's a lot of like bias with these NBA players, but the real crazy part is when the WNBA coach said this. If there was no referee, I'm going to go to the ATM, I'm going to sell my house, and I'm going to put all my money on DeMarcus Cousins. This was the WNBA coach. This was the WNBA, not WNBA, the Women's USA basketball coach that said this to a reporter that was questioning them about like these about her claim. This was her coach. So the fact that her coach said this really speaks on the talent that DeMarcus Cousins had at the time and the amount of talent that these NBA players have compared to WNBA players. Like, he is that confident in DeMarcus Cousins being able to beat her. I thought it was insane, but he is a coach, so he knows more about basketball than a lot of people do. So he won 2 gold medals for Team USA. So he knows his stuff. With all of this in mind, like, this matchup will be huge. Like, Steph Curry's oh god, the lights just went out. Hold on, give me 1 second. It's weird. I guess they thought no one was in this room. Wow. Anyways, back to what I was saying. If Steph ends up losing this game, like, this could seriously damage his legacy. Like, really, really damage his legacy. Like, he has that reputation of, like, the greatest shooter on planet Earth and the greatest shooter that God made. So if he loses to WNBA player, like, I'm not going to say, like, it's bad, because, like, you can lose to anyone. There's nothing wrong with losing, but it's, like, it's just going, if he lost to anyone in the league, it's, like, it's going to damage him. Like, and not only that, but if Steph does end up losing, which I don't think he will, this could bring in a surge of, like, WNBA viewers. Like, this might bring a lot of attention. Like, wow, this woman was able to beat Stephen Curry in a 3-point contest? That's amazing. And, like, they'll all just go ahead and, like, they'll tune into the games. And with Caitlin Clark coming in, this is just the beginning. Like, she'll spark what makes, like, she'll spark other WNBA athletes and, like, other women to, like, try to play as a sport and try to compete with her and, like, increase the overall skill level of these WNBA teams. Maybe even expand the league, like, who knows? Let me know in the comments who you guys have winning this contest. My money's on Steph, though not to completely talk down on the WNBA or its athletes. She does hold the record for the most points in the 3-point shootout. So we'll see if it was just her night or if she's really like that. Then again, Steph could also just randomly start missing. I don't think that will happen given by what I saw from him last year. That was just unbelievable shooting from him. And like, I think what would be a really crazy ending is if they both end up tying and they both end up like sharing the win. Like that would be really cool. But I also heard a hot take from someone saying that Steph might just let her win to just increase like the WNBA viewership. I don't think that's gonna happen because like I think like they really want to find out like who's the better shooter, and it's fun. It's like it's for All-Star Weekend. Like this is great. Like I feel like we should do like. I feel like the league should do more of this. Obviously, like they wouldn't do like I don't think they would do like a full NBA team versus a full WNBA team. I wish, but maybe a 3-on-3. Like I know that they have like the Big Three show where they do 3v3 basketball. So maybe for All-Star break they could do like a 3-on-3. Who knows? Like that would be really cool to see. But with that, we are out of time for the second segment. I'm going to be taking a short break once again, and I will see you in the third segment where I go ahead and I recap the rest of the games that happened from last night and see if there is a better spot to sit in this room. So I will be right back.